Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Now we're talking. Lilui Nishmat. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name again? From
Pomona, New York.
Pomona, New York. Shalom Aleichem. You're new. Together with him?
We were here together last time.
Really?
He was Ranana.
But why are you guys coming here? It's going to be Motzei Shabbos in Ranana.
See you then too.
Rabbi said Ranana Motzei Shabbos. Ranana Motzei Shabbos. This Motzei Shabbos. So 9 o'clock English, 10 o'clock Hebrew. The Parnassa Hayoim for the sandwiches, the breakfast. Lilui Nishmat, Rebbe HaKadosh, Rebbe Avram, Doiv ben Rav David, Zechazak Devracha, the Basayin. Shama should have an aliyah. As promised, I told you the story yesterday, but it's gewaldig. We have to the chizuk again from Naftali Zanze per. Because you insist, he says, thank you for your shir today. It was so nice to see it live. I'm going in 52 days that I haven't missed your shir. I really enjoy the shir and all the visualizations. I recently completed paramedic program, which I needed to put in 30 hours a week between class, labs, ER rotations, the ambulance rotations. Moving through the 13th month program, I said to myself, if I can put in 30 hours a week for 13 months straight into this medic program, I can at least put in 15 hours a week into learning. I'm 9 weeks into this learning commitment and averaging 16 to 18 hours a week. So I think it's a tremendous chizuk. People should hear what he's saying and actually do this. I tell you this today in person. Your sister, I write to you an email. I hope this inspires someone else. I have my 4-year-old Eli also join me for this year. P.S. Thanks for the coffee and for the fighter jet's view from your rooftop deck. Naftali Zanzibar F-72. Gewaldig. We're back.
Yesterday, Dov Reuben from Hanover, he wanted to let you know that his father was very, very touched.
Yeah, I heard. And maybe they'll bring him to
make sure that you know.
I got the message from 2 different people. Yishkoyach, yes. And Rabbi Reuben, we're hoping maybe we'll see you live at the Siyum.
3 times every day.
It's unbelievable. So Rabbi Isai, he sent in, this is a special for Jonathan Stefansky. Punkt, he came today. And Punkt, I got to show you something I've never shown the Oilam this. But in the video that Naftali Zanzibar sent, so it brought back memories. We lived in Chicago. We built a house. I told you about this house. It's almost 12,000 square feet, Jonathan. Yeah. And my wife is an interior designer, and she did all this stuff, and every floor and every bathroom looked different. So I'm going to show you a picture. This is during construction still. You can see on the wallpaper is like this velvety. It has like literally, you can feel it feels like a yarmulke on the wall, and you can see up front it's missing, but the floor. I noticed it today in the video that Naftali Zanzibar sent, and I'm going to show it to you in a second. Here it goes. This is the entrance to our house over there. So look, you see that tile on the floor? I sat there with the guy, every tile. And here it goes. Check this out. I love this video.
What did you say? What?
I'm learning the Daf today.
Am I learning the what?
The Daf.
Oh, the Daf? Yeah, the Daf.
Yeah?
You see, look at the floor in the background. Oh, it brought back memories.
What's his name? Do you remember his name?
The Kitzer. So here's the 4-year-old doing the Daf with his father. His whole life is a changed life now. Yosef Tzvi Rosen. I'm reaching out to you, thinking you're changing my life. I'm a 17-year-old from New York. 17 years old. And I wasn't satisfied with the amount of Gemara I was learning in my high school. I went to see him for Bava Basra. I thought I'd try Daf Yomi. So obviously I started listening to Shiurim. I never would have thought I could last for 2 Masech. No, we have a very nice apartment. Just the tile is the original from the Kablan in there. People say, well, you have a nice apartment. It has a nice view. You're right, but it's...
Change the tile.
Change this, change that. Yeah, okay.
Not rocket science.
It is. You have to move out of your house. You have to do this.
No, you don't.
Okay. I've done it.
I've also done it.
I've done it, and it's nervaim. So obviously, I started listening to Yeshurim. I never would have thought I could last for 2 Masechtas, but thank to you. It's not that. It's not the title. The whole thing. Okay, go explain to that guy. You live in a deer here in Eretz Yisrael. Go explain to you. I never would have thought I could last for 2 Masechtas, but thanks to you, it wasn't hard to keep going. This summer, I was in a dero with some other guys, and I set my alarm clock to your good moon, Rabbi Isai. They loved it. I think I got 1 or 2 people to start listening to his shir. Off an alarm clock, he got 2 people. No, I don't know how he got them. Thank you for changing my life and looking forward to Mr. Hashem finishing Shas together. You tell me Yitzchak Tzvi Rosen, a 17-year-old from New York. Hi, Rebbe. This is from Jonathan Aschendorf. I just wanted to share what happened to me last night after a long day in the office. This is also a big yisoid in Daf Yomi. After a long day in the office and being a bit tired, I was really not in the mood to open my Gemara. Then I said to myself, let me just start watching and listening to the shir and I'll go as far as I can. Before you know it, I lost track of time and ended up learning the whole day's daf. Anytime anyone is tired or had a long day, I thought it's only when you go on YouTube, you want a 5-minute break, so you take you go into YouTube for 5 minutes and 3 hours later you're still in the same spot. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But the oilam that does YouTube knows what I'm talking about. Anytime it's too tired, the site is not to go on Bechlal if it's possible. Anytime anyone's too tired, had a long day, is just not in the mood to learn, just start. Do a few minutes. You never know how far you will go. Your Talmud Chanan Ashendor Plios. Please say hi to my Uncle Bernie. Who's his Uncle Bernie? Bernie the Burn. I thought that, but no, it's not Bernie the Burn. Here he is. Bernie. He's a good guy, this guy? This is your nephew?
Good friend.
A good friend. Uncle Bernie. Every time I see him in your shir, it puts a smile on my face and is a real inspiration for me. Uncle Bernie. From today on, his name is Uncle Bernie. Uncle Bernie. That's it. I got a name.
Bernie's okay. That's all right.
Uncle Bernie. Uncle Bernie is different. Let's see what else do we have here. We have a siyum in Dallas, Texas. Location not there at 7 p.m. Dallas, Texas. I think it would be a lot easier if we did somebody would work on one design, a template, and everybody use it. Every single person is doing something else. Okay, shir, as I said. Oh, this was unbelievable. Rabbi Isai, we know that Manis Berkovici, he was the Parnassa of the turning of the daf. What was he asking for Parnassa? Hatzlach and Klal Yisrael. I thought he got. Here he is with Trump yesterday at the New York Stock Exchange. Here he is, Givaldic. I thought he asked for Parnassa, and he got it. Okay, Givaldic. So, the sponsor of the Masechta for the safe and speedy return of all the Hasid Shalom Aleichem, the guest. What's your name? Shalom. David Bernstein. Shalom Aleichem. How you doing? You know Rocky?
From the stairs.
Wow, Rocky, what a tzaddik. Where are you from?
From Netanya, originally Toronto.
Very nice. You drove him from Netanya now. How long does it take to drive him from Netanya?
A little over an hour.
Wow, very nice. A little over an hour. Yesterday we had a whole family from Migdala Emek. First time, Migdala Emek. Chashuv. The Masechta of the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnassa Chodesh Lilui Nishmat Zechariah ben Moshe Lilui Nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. Parnassa Chodesh last day. Tzvi Spero, boysai, you have Kavana over here. Refuah Shleimah of Itamar Efraim ben Chai Baliima. Refuah Shleimah. Before I forget, our good friend Ari Simon, who's now on a plane on the way to America, his company bought the Hadron in America. Basically, he's making a donation for the Siyum here in Eretz Yisrael. A big donation, a very large donation, maybe the largest donation we got so far. He's buying the Hadron and benching, and we have a tremendous Hakar Zatayv. I'll ask him if he wants me to go into more details, but Adar Global, he already gave $5,000. In addition to this, it's close to $30,000 donation, so a tremendous Yishkoyach to Aryeh. Should have a lot of Tzlacha. And if people could use his business, it'll be Givaldic. We'll show Hakar Zatayv to MDY and to him. He does, if you want to bring money in from America, you're buying a house or something, so you want to bring the cash from America to Israel, he helps out in those things. We use them here for MDY. When we were building MDY, I brought cash from America to here through him. Okay, so Yeshar Koyach. We're still looking for sponsors for both the Shabbaton and the Siyum here in Eretz Yisrael. It's going well, Baruch Hashem. Zogdigim says the Mefurish sponsors. The Parnassa, the fourth sponsor, is the third. Refuah hanefesh guf for Breina Bina about Miriam baila or a bracha about Breina Bina and Netanel Kalev ben or a bracha. Parnassa chodesh for fasting complete. Refuah Shleimah for Shmuel Nechemia ben Hinda. Amen. Parnassa chodesh Lilui Nishmat Siliya bas Dvora and Shom should have an aliyah. Parnassa chodesh Lilui Nishmat Binyamin Meir ben Ze'ev David Hashem Yinkam Damai. Parnassa Shavua Refuah Shleimah for Yosef Chaim Shmuel ben Alta Nechama from his grateful family. Parnassa Shavua as a schus that all medical tests show health and may Hashem make it that it should be so. Parnassa Yoim, Shimon Fried, Lilui Nishmat, Sultana Bat Chaton, Sultana Bat Chaton. Refuah Shleimah, Dvora Esther Bas Rochel Chana, a mother in serious condition. Refuah Shleimah. Yamin Presser, Lilui Nishmat, my wife's little brother. Refuah Chaim Simcha ben Yamin ben Shleimah Mordechai. A little brother should have Refuah Shleimah. Huh? Oh, you're right. I'll say it again. Beyond Presser, Lilui Nishmas, my wife's little brother. Refuah Chaim Simcha ben Yamin ben Shleimah Mordechai, the Shoma should have an aliyah. Parnassa chodesh for schus, for Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Yesterday, all the way at the end of the year, we saw this video. I'll show it to you again. It was a good one.
Here's half the loan.
This explains the Mishnah.
Wait, you'll have to give me the star hug back. But you still owe me half the money. And if we make a new star, I will be able to collect on a land you sold in the last 25 years since the loan. I have an idea. I'll take the money and I'll give you a receipt. But what if I lose the receipt? Or a mouse eats it? But why would a mouse eat it? Oh. Who is right? Me or him?
I think you are both wrong.
Oh, so we're going to see why they're both wrong. In other words, Rabbi Yehuda says, if somebody pays half the loan, you rewrite a new star. Who rewrites it? The Edom rewrite it. And according to Rabbi Yossi, you don't write a new star. You just write a new receipt. You give him a receipt that you paid half. What do you write in a new star? You're going to write the original date in the new star. The loan happened a year ago. He paid off half of it today. You don't write today's date. You write the date a year ago. So if we're talking about mice, the king of the jungle, the lion, made a wedding, and he invited all the animals in the kingdom to come. And the mouse came, and he wrote a check for the wedding. And he wrote, "My brother should have a great life." The lion was furious. He said, "My brother, you call me who do you think you are? You're just a mouse." So the mouse said, "Listen up. I also used to be a lion until I got married." Omer Abu Nomer Rav. Ein halacha loy ki Rabbi Yehuda v'loy ki Rabbi Yossi. Says Rav. I work in my midas. I have these two guys here. At least today you smile. Look at him. He's like.
It's an old joke. It is an old joke, but it's a good one.
It's good. So what? Guess what?
Listen, we just saw
Mendy.
yesterday.
Yeah, Mendy.
The same joke.
Mendy. Every time I hear, it's not even shtusim from Baruch Mordechai, I love it all over again. I can say it every day. It's not even shtusim. But okay.
This was very good.
It's shtusim, not even shtusim. It's on the level of shtusim. Good. Okay. I want to see you, Mendy, one day. Give a shir 2,711 days straight, and every day come up with 2,011 new zchariah and stories. Today I was so desperate I had to pull out a picture of the tiles of my house just to. And Allah like Yossi.
It's good. It's such a big house. You could show us another room tomorrow.
I'm just trying to give Chaya for Jonathan Stefansky. He's going to come up here. He hasn't been here in months. He comes once every 3 months. Shows up. How's he going to give the Purim Torah? He needs Chaya. You got enough?
Even once every 3 months.
Yeah. He's going to pull out pictures now, the tile. Let's you understand. Like the mouse says. The halacha is like neither. It's not that you you write a new shtar or you write a new receipt. What is the difference? The only difference that Rav is saying, really, he agrees to Reb Yehuda, but who writes it? Reb Yehuda holds that the Eidim themselves write it, and Rav says they don't have the right to write a shtar. It must be a bezdin. As we're going to see, who are the Eidim? Why should they have power to? When you write a shtar, it's a powerful thing. With that shtar, you can go and collect somebody's real estate. You can take somebody's house away. If that person bought it at the wrong time, within the shtar period, you take his house. You have a lien on all property. So you, the aid, don't have a right to write a shtar. Who has the right? Bezdin. Worst comes to worst, as the Gemara is going to, the Rishbam explains, even it's at the top of Amud Aleph, it works with the power of Hefker, Bezdin. Hefker, a Bezdin has a lot of power, but not you, Eidim. Okay, so that's the difference. If Rav would hear this brisa, what's this brisa? So we're going to have it on Amud Aleph here. In a few minutes, we're going to say, what is the brisa? So now you're going to know what we're talking about. Ha brisa, this brisa that we're going to bring a part of it, had he heard this, he wouldn't have said what he said. And the Gemara says, no, that's not true. He would say it. All right. It says that the Eidim rip up the shtar and they write a new shtar and they put the original time in there. Maybe he thought that we're not really talking about maybe there's a problem with the time, how the Brisa says Mefurish is the first time and not the second, but it does say Mefurish in the Brisa that who writes the new shtar? Eidim. He would have retracted. Amarlei, Shmialei v'loi Hadarbei, the famous idea that we have throughout Shas. Rav, Tanahu Upalig. Rav happens to be the first Amoira, but he still lived, he had 1 foot in the time of the Tanaim. He was the last Tana, the first Amoira. So yes, he's the first Amoira, but he still has power like a Tana to argue on Tanaim. So even though there's a Brisa, he'll argue with them. Daf Kuf Ayin Aleph. It's unreal. It's the power of the Daf Yomi that we do a daf a day, small little bite every day. But just 170 days ago we started this Masechta. It seems like yesterday, and that's the unbelievable thing of it. Were you here with us when we started Bava Basra? That's how long ago we started. It seems like you're here in Eretz Yisrael forever, or that you started the thing. Okay, 170 days ago. Bishloime beidina alima lafkui memoina. I can understand how Bezdin could write another shtar, because Bezdin is strong. They Hefker, Bezdin, Hefker, they can do whatever they want. Well, because they asked you to sign on a document, you're going to start signing document after document? Who are you? Lilui, why not? Same Rav. If a guy loses his shtar on a field, he'll write the Eidim, not Bezdin. The Eidim will write another shtar, and then another shtar. The guy's a shlamazla, keeps on losing his shtar. You keep on writing a shtar for him. Says the Gemara, no. This that Rav said that Eidim could write new stories for you, those are weak stories. Stories that are not important, that can't do any damage, really. What kind of shtar? Either Rav Yosef Amar b'shtar matana. It's just a gift shtar. And a gift shtar does not include in it any sort of lien, any sort of achrayas, right? What's a gift shtar? You could have my apartment, but a minute later, somebody could come and take that apartment. So what kind of gift is it? This week's parsha, all the way in the beginning, I had the big schos. On Monday, our Balkaira pulled off his famous katainti, the one that annoys the whole shul, and he does it b'dafka lahachis. So I made him a chag g'dayla in middle shul. I said, Kata, you have to go back. Of course he didn't. And then Gershon, to get me good, he gave me the aliyah. I told him, don't give me aliyahs, give the aliyahs to guests. I don't need an aliyah, Baruch Hashem, I'm good. They give me aliyah on Shabbat, whatever. Just, even that is not good, but whatever. We'll talk about it different. So they gave me the aliyah b'dafka because it's the katainti aliyah. And then, I made a speech before. I said, please don't bother him. We're going to be mechabed. And he did the katainti. He did it. Afuch al afuch, they say in Hebrew. Anyway, so, wait for Shabbos. I'm going to be here for Kiris Adayra. What, are you going to do something else? Dargo, what are you going to do? Oh, like one of those, like the, what is it called? No, the para, carne para together with the, no, they have one. Last week's Parsha, or 2 weeks ago, they had like, it looks like a Gershayim underneath the word. Anyway, fine. But it says in this week's Parsha, and ki b'makli of varti sayardin azeh. Ki b'makli of varti sayardin azeh. I didn't even know there's a song to it, but okay, you want to sing, you can sing. Help him. Beautiful, beautiful. What does it mean? Yaakov Avinu is in trouble. Mami's in trouble. He's going to lose half his family here. But at the same time, he says, unbelievable. He says, when last time I crossed this river, I didn't have anything. I had nothing. And today, look what I have. I have 4 wives. I have 11, 12 children. I have a whole mishpacha. Yes, I'm in tsar. I'm in tsaras. But something about 4 wives. It was funny. Okay? I don't know what he said. I understood what he wanted to say.
He wasn't the mouse, he was the
Hatzileni no. Hatzileni no. Anyway, help Hashem, help me. So, sometimes it's unbelievable if you think about it. It's a tremendous yisoid. Hashem wants to punish somebody, so what does he do? He could take away what he has. No, he does chesed with him. The guy wins the lottery. He's screaming with joy. Wow, I'm a millionaire. I know somebody like that. He made over $1 million in the stock market. He bought, what was it called then? AOL. Remember AOL.com? He bought AOL, became a millionaire. And then the next day, poof, he owed $200,000 in taxes and he had 0 in his account. That's a beautiful bracha. What happened to that guy that I know very, very well is a bracha. Hashem gives you $1 million and then he punishes you, takes it away. Instead of taking off your leg or something important, he gives you the gift and then takes it away. So he punished you. You didn't have to make the $1 million, you didn't have to lose it, but that is punishment. So I just reminded it over here, b'shtar matana. I give you a gift, but then tomorrow somebody comes and takes I got an apartment for 1 day. I was all excited. The guy, he's a Russia. He knows that he owes the apartment to somebody else. You take a gift. You're all excited. You tell your wife you got a new apartment in Yerushalayim, and then literally the next day, knock on the door, they come and they take it away. So in a shtar matana, where there's 0 achrayas, he has no responsibility. Someone takes it away, takes it away. The same idea. It's not a matana. I'm just selling you an apartment without any guarantee, and therefore Eidim could go ahead and rewrite the whole shtar. My brisa. So we mentioned 3 lines from the bottom of Amud Beis that there's a brisa of Rav Yehuda. What is it? Let's hear the whole brisa. Our story. Guy owes 1,000. He decided to pay off, be nice, pay 500. Eidim Makarim Hashtar. What do the Eidim do? It doesn't say Bezdin. Eidim rip up the shtar, and they rewrite a new document, but the original date is in the new document, Mizman Rishon. Why? The Reb Yehuda. Because in fact, he does have a lien. The Malva has liens all the way from last year, from when he gave the original loan, and therefore when you're rewriting it, rewrite it with the original loan. Why not? Just a new amount. Now it's half the amount, so you put a new amount. No, you don't rip anything up, you just leave it as is. And write a receipt. Now, a receipt is problematic, like we saw in the video. A mouse could come and eat it in those days. Very problematic. But we want that on purpose. Number 1, when the loiva has a shtar that he must watch, he's nervous about it here. We even have a little bit of a picture. Look at this. He has to watch this the star with lasers, with everything. He has a hole, has to make sure nobody touches it, and it drives him crazy. So what is he going to do? He's going to pay it off. Also, psychologically speaking, when somebody pays off half the loan, he thinks to himself, wow, I deserve a tremendous ishkayach. He's proud of himself. He paid off half the loan. No, the guy will be moichel if I don't pay on time. Now I give myself another year. I already, look, you should be happy. I paid him half. There's a psychological effect here. No. You should. We're going to give you something to watch. And you better take good care of this document. If you lose it, you're going to have to pay the whole thing. So pay off the whole thing. When you pay off the whole thing, then we'll rip up the star and you won't have to worry about it. So it forces you to pay it. And another reason is that we want the original date to be there so that we want a receipt, a new thing to say, hey, it's the original date. So that if somebody bought anything in between, you could go after that karka. Says the Gemara, that's Reb Yosef. But Reb Yehuda Nami Mizman Rishon Kamar. Look in the words over here. It says Mefurish in the Braisa. Mizman Rishon. There's no argument that the star is written from the original date. Says the Gemara, Reb Yosef Reb Yehuda. Perhaps I didn't understand you correctly. Perhaps I didn't hear you correctly. But Mizman Rishon Kamar is Pagin Allah Bechada. So there are two things that are brought up here. These two things. What time do we write in the star? And also, do we write a receipt? So says Rabbi Yosef, I argue on at least one thing, that you don't write a receipt. Rabbi Yosef says you write a receipt. Now, I don't know what you said about number one. If you agree with me, great, then I only argue on one thing. If you disagree with me, I'm going to argue on both things, on two things. If you, Rabbi Yehuda, agree that in your star, I say you shouldn't write it. In your document, you write the time, the original time of last year, then we have no argument. Great. Then we only argue on the second thing. But if you say that you write in the document today's date, not last year's date, then I'm going to argue on two things. I don't know if you remember, I said the story a number of times. A guy or a lawyer figured that something's wrong with this document. It doesn't add up. It says that his client owes $1 million. So he tells the judge, he says, I want you to tell me what date did this happen on. Okay? It happened on, I don't know, whatever. When does Yom Kippur fall out on? What month? October 10th. Look up in the calendar, what day is October 10th in the Jewish calendar? Judge opens it up, comes out Yom Kippur. She tells the judge, there's no one. Look at the whole Israel. There's not a single car driving in the streets. Nothing. Everybody's Shomer Yom Kippur. They all fast. The most friar person fast. All the kibbutzniks fast. So how is it possible that a Jew wrote a document on Yom Kippur? Therefore, Your Honor, I'm telling you, it's mezuyev metoichai. I want you to cancel this whole star. And the judge said, wow, okay. Is that a good story? We're going to see a fascinating thing here. Sometimes when it says Yom Kippur, and the Gemara, I said the story a number of times. The Gemara says if it says Yom Kippur in the star, it's a great star sometimes. It's great. Why? Because you put it in there on purpose. You wanted to show people that it's a star me'uchar. It was written with the wrong date on purpose to tell you that the star doesn't have an effect today, it has an effect tomorrow, next month, next year. So it says like this. It says that you wrote the star on a Shabbos or on Yom Kippur. So what does it mean? It means that on the star itself, it has an English date. So they go on into it. Are you allowed to write English dates on documents? What's the problem? What is the English date? It basically is the birthday. We're counting from the birthday of Oisayish. This is a Gemara, a famous halacha. You're not allowed to mention what? Okay. You're not allowed to mention Avodah Zarah at all. So in other words, you can't tell somebody, it happens in America all the time. My brother-in-law, he used to live across the street from the church. Here, look at the church. Just go to the church and make a right. Also, Also, why? Because you're being masker the mention of David Zara. So you're allowed to, the question is, are you allowed to mention that Yashka was born 2,024 years ago? It's so Miriam Shik went absolutely. He says, I don't understand how people put it on their matzeva. It's disturbing other people that are next to them. How do you put in your documents, especially the months, whole thing? They said the brisker Rav wasn't makbid on it. He says, you ask the average person, what's 2024? What is it? What is it? They don't know. They have no idea. It's not on Avodah Zara. You see from the Gemaras that the Gemara used to, we had a sugya a while, just, I don't know, within a week, two, they would count the star based on the kings and this and that. So, Leminyanim. So you put it in people put in the invitations. Almost every invitation has it, right? So just you should know that there's something to it. There's people that are against it. There's people that say it's not such a problem. I'm just throwing it out there. What? I'm telling you a pasuk that I read from within inside the Miriam Shik. I didn't make up. I don't know psukim. You think I just made up a pasuk? I went to yeshiva, my friend. Vibatem. What do you say? What does that entail him? I'm joking. Okay, he doesn't bring that pasuk. So let me just show you real quickly, because we're going to talk about Shtar Mucher. Had I been in yeshiva during the sugi of Shtar Mucher, I would have gone to sleep for a month, and we're going to have just the idea of Shtar Mucher. Okay, but here it is in a picture form. There was a loan that took place on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and rather than writing the true date, look what he wrote in the Shtar. What does it say there? ER. ER is further down the line. It's 1 month later. Who loses out in this case? It says the wrong date in the Shtar. It says a future date. Who loses out? The Malva. Why? Because look, the Loiva has a piece of property that the Malva theoretically could come, he has a lien on it, and he could come and take it. But this Loiva guy went ahead and sold the piece of property. Now, it doesn't really matter. If you have a loan before the sale, you could still go after the piece of property. The problem is that the Malva doesn't have any proof because it says ER on the property, on the Shtar. When was the sale? On Chafei Nisan, 5 days before what it says in the Shtar. So the Malva cannot go after the property. Here's ER, after the sale. And here's when the Malva wants it back, and the guy says, stop. The buyer says, no, you're not getting this property. I had no idea that there was a loan. Why do you get my property? Because if there's a Shtar with Adam and there's a loan, then the whole world knows I didn't know about it. And Memela, that's a Shtar Mu'ucher. Mu'ucher means that the date on the Shtar was written, on the time of the Halva, was written the wrong date, a future date. Now you have a Shtar Mukdam, the time of the Halva, Aleph Nisan, it's going to say it happened on Purim. Before the Halva. That's a Shtar Mukdam. That's possible. Because now the Malva could go after property that was sold before the loan, even though he'd never had a lien on that property. That we'll see on Amud Beis. So, there was a story that happened in Tzipori, and you said that it's kosher. I only said it's kosher in this exact case that it said in the shtar, the documentation, it said Yom Kippur. As we're going to see later, the fact that it says Yom Kippur or Shabbos in the documentation, everybody agrees it's kosher. As the Gemara, what do you mean I said it's a documentation of Yom Kippur? Let's read it again. Shtar shekasav Shabbos or Basar b'Tishrei Taner Rabbanan, right? A shtar that it says Mufurish Yom Kippur. Shtar Mu'ucher v'Kasher Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is talking about a Yom Kippur shtar. Rabbi Yossi Paisel, and he says it's puzzle. What are you telling me that no? Rabbi Yossi said it's talking about a Yom Kippur shtar that's kosher. We're talking about Yom Kippur shtar and there's a machlokes here. You hear what the Gemara says here? Everybody agrees that if a shtar says the word Yom Kippur in it, it doesn't really say Yom Kippur. It says October 10th, and we pull out a calendar and we see that it means Yom Kippur. Then everybody agrees this shtar is kosher because you're trying to hint within the shtar that you wrote it on Yom Kippur, meaning that it's a delayed shtar. Shtar mochu or kosher. Everybody agrees that. Yeah. I once heard a story of Ma'aser Shaya. They said it's a Ma'aser Shaya. There was a star that the lawyer, again, another story where the lawyer figured out that something's wrong. Like he saw his client, he saw the other guy, he saw the guy as a swindler. He couldn't prove it. And then he chapped that the street, the name of the street where the loan happened, they changed the name of the street after the loan. Like he was able to prove that wasn't the name of the street. The name of the street, I lived in Bnei Brak, right? It used to be Refuah Shleimah, the famous street that Coca-Cola is on, and now it's called Refuah Kahneman. So if it says Refuah Shleimah on it, but it happened in 1975, Refuah Kahneman, you know that it okay, anyway. So it's a mezuiv metoicha. You see from within the star, which Gevaldik Maisa. I hope it is not going to hurt anybody. When I was right before I got my license, I must have been 15 years old. I drove in the mountains like a 15-year-old, like a Meshugana, and I got pulled over twice. I got 2 tickets, and that meant that I would never get I would get my license after I'm 20 years old. It's a punishment, you know. You get tickets before you get a license. So my father really wanted me to have a license, so he drove me down to upstate New York. I'm not going to go into too many details because I don't want anybody to get into trouble, but the judge had a certain connection to a certain lawyer, and the lawyer said, listen, if you pay me $500, I'll take care of your tickets. So we went into court, we gave him the $500, and we went to court, and the judge looks at the ticket, he goes, this street? It doesn't even exist. Dismissed. This? Boom. For no reason. No reason. A big reason. $500 then, it was like 30-something years ago, a lot of money. Okay? The street, it's Mezuiv V'Toichai, he said. It's Mamish Mezuiv V'Toichai. What's going on here? Why would you schlep this poor 15-year-old down into court? Mamish Shtusim. Ma'aser Shaya. Kachaya. I can't say all the details. He was a businessman that did a lot of business with the yeshiva over there. Okay. The judge on the side, because he wasn't okay. I hope he's not going to hurt his business now. The Rebbe Yehuda Tamei Do'amar Ein Koisim Shoiver. He's mistama, like if he's still alive, he's 110 years old now. Oh, so where's the machlokes Rebbe Yosef? We just said if it says Yom Kippur in the star, not a problem at all. So where's the whole machlokes? When it doesn't say Yom Kippur, it just says we have a star muchar, like we saw. The loan happened in Nisan, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and it says, thank you, and it says Iyar. A month later, the star says that what? The Rebbe Yehuda says, Da'amar ein koisim shoivar, and Rebbe Yehuda is the one that says the star muchas is kosher. Why? Because you can't write a receipt. Since you can't write a receipt, nothing bad will happen. We'll show you in a second. Since I can write a receipt, what's the big disaster that could happen? So for that, we have to see right over here. Very simple. There was a loan in Nisan. What does it say in the star? It says Iyar, the wrong date. Chafei Nisan, the guy goes, 25 days later, he pays off the loan. The Malva says, I lost the star. What happens? We have a machlokes. Could you write a receipt or not write a receipt? Let's say you could write a receipt. A big disaster is going to happen. Very, very simple. The star says Iyar, a later date. So comes the Malva and says, hey, you borrowed from me the second time. That's normal, right? Somebody borrows from you money, and then he pays you back. What happens the next month? He comes again for the loan. He says, look, I'm good for the money. Could I have it again? Sure, no problem. So he produces a star that says Iyar. If you're allowed to write a receipt, he's going to get him on the second time. If you cannot write a receipt, then he'll say, the loiva will tell the Malva, sorry, I'm not paying you until you can produce a real star. I don't have a star. Find the star, then we'll talk. Even if you hold you write a receipt, that's only if you paid half of it. If the loiva was good and he's coming to pay $1 million, he's not taking a receipt for $1 million. He wants the original document. He wants you to rip it up. Says the Gemara of Elohi. Think about it. If that's the case, you owe $1 million and the guy lost his star. What does that mean? If you say that he won't accept the receipt, he doesn't have to accept the receipt, what does that mean? He doesn't have to pay back $1 million loan. Is that fair? I mean, at the end of the day, he really borrowed $1 million and he really owes him $1 million. So what should he do? The Malva says, I don't have his star. Let me give you a receipt. The Levi says, I'm not accepting a receipt. So he shouldn't pay? The Gemara talks about it. That's why the Gemara says we don't like this halacha. We don't like the way you're saying it. I could write a document on the whole thing. Why? Because there's a concept called Eved Loiva Lishmalva. It's a pasuk in Mishlei. We're going to see it soon. Osher Beroshim Yimshal Ve'Eved Loiva Lishmalva. When you borrow money, you are a slave to the malva. Here, nice depiction that Yoshi did. I'm very impressed. It's Mechabed the Loiva in the malva. He says, look, you borrow from credit cards. You have credit card debt. You are. It's my house. No, it's not my house. You don't have. No. You don't have a good eye. These are full tiles. One is black, one is white. That was black border around the white. It's different. Very, very different. Here, let me show you. You know what? Let me show you. I don't want to show you my house again. I'll show you. These are borders around the tile. This is much, much more difficult. And each one had corners. Very, very difficult. Now, let's go back to that picture. But nice pickup. Look. These are full tiles, no borders. Different. Okay? This is...
Eli, you're right. Once in 3 months is not enough.
You don't know what you missed. You moms don't know what you're missing. Anyways, if you have credit card debt, you are a slave to the credit card company as a shteta. Anyway, so it's your responsibility to take care of you have a big problem. Oh, you need to put laser beams and you need to put glass and you're worried about mice. That's your problem. You're a evet. Take care of it. This is an incredible story. Why? Because we had the same exact story yesterday, the same name. Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef borrowed money. Sorry, Rabbi Abba borrowed money for Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef, and he borrowed a day ago on Kufayin also. Also, but this time, and it's incredible. Why is it incredible? Because last time we also took him to Bezdin. He wouldn't pay him, he took him to Bezdin. You would think that if somebody doesn't pay you and you take him to Bezdin, you're not going to give him another loan. Here he is, give him another loan. And you take him to another Bezdin. He didn't like the first outcome, he goes to this one. Yeah, okay, it's unbelievable. You know what? I'll pay you. Havli Zuze. Havli Zuze, pay me. You know, I'm willing to pay, just I want my shtar. I lost the shtar. I'm sorry, I can't give you the shtar. I'll write you a receipt. Rabbi says, no way. Horavu Shmuel, the Amitar value. Very rarely do you have that Rav and Shmuel agreed to one thing, and here they're agreeing, Ein Kaisim Shoiver, you don't write a receipt. Omar, so the Dayan, Reb Chanina Bar Papa says, Mani Ahavilon, may offer the Rav Shmuel. I love Rav Shmuel. They were already nifter. Halavai could have a little bit of their dust. Ramidim Beinin, I'll throw it in my eye. That's how much I appreciate Rav and Shmuel. However, that being said, all this honor I'm giving them, I don't want to miss a word here because then we won't be able to make a Siyam Shas. The Horish Lakish, the Amitar value Kaisin Shoiver. The G'dayla Adar in Eretz Yisrael, the G'dayla Adar in Bavel said no, and the G'dayla in Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Yochanan says you do write a receipt. You do write a receipt. And the logic dictates the Kaisim Shaivar, you do write a receipt. Why not? Why yes? Because if you think that you don't write a receipt, it's a big problem. If the Malva loses a shtar, then the loiva should just sit and eat the loan and not worry about anything. Here, Yoshi did a scene where the guy's eating the loan. AI, Shmak. That's it? Huh? V'chadi, he's happy. He's eating the loan, he's happy. Okay. Sponsors. Oh, Taka, sponsors. Turning of the daf. Kinnovation Zealousy and honor my uncle Rebbe Chanan President official should be a schus vakiv some women figure shidduch for Refuat this Basiaf Chaya and a huge thank you to Rebbe Stefansky plus all the brachas. Danny Fine and Rob Ernst of Elite Israel Realty. Oh, Mazel Tov Rob Ernst. I forgot to throw in the picture. The picture of Rob's son at the Kaisel for his bar mitzvah. Lift up his pants and or trousers, I should say, for those English people, and their MDY socks by the Kaisel. Welcoming all the new Olim, proudly standing with you on your journey and to finishing Shas together. Matzvah Abaya. What are you saying? Here's the picture. Whatever. Maybe they'll throw it in there. Masgula abaya. Velamai. So what do you want? You should write a receipt. And what if the loiva loses his receipt? Not even the mice come and eat it. Normal. What are you going to do against mice, right? They in those days it's crazy. Okay, they ate up your star. So now the malva is going to come and get you again and hit you up for the same loan. Yes. If a loiva lish malva, it's your problem. You have to deal with it. So we already saw what a shtar mucher is. We could say it one more time. Here there was a loan that happened on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and the arrow tells you, like if you're not good with the Hebrew months, it goes that way. But it says in the shtar, Iyar. Iyar is 1 month after Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and then on Chafei Nisan, 25 days later, the loiva sold his land to another person. Typically speaking, it should have a lien for the malva on it, but the shtar says Iyar on it. So therefore, when the malva comes to grab the land, the buyer of the land says, no, I'm sorry. So that's kosher. Moir de Gemaisa, the Reb David Kaplan says in a sefer, says a Maisa Shahaya, 2 women were complaining to their husbands that they're stressed out, they need a vacation. So the husband said, you know what, go on a 10-day vacation. They both sent them to Switzerland for 10 days. On the way back from Switzerland, they come to the airport, and to their shock, the guy at the airport says, you're on the wrong day. You're supposed to fly out on Tuesday. They said, that's right, we're here. He said, no, today's Wednesday. I said, what? What happened was they were so into their vacation, and they were so oblivious to the world, they missed the day. They thought it's Tuesday, it was Wednesday. And then one of the women looks at the other woman and says, if today's Wednesday, that means we're Mechal Shabbos. We thought, that's what he writes in his sefer. So anyway, what? Huh?
What was the lesson of the story? Not be oblivious? What was the lesson?
The husbands obviously didn't care. No, it's just,
what was the lesson?
I have no idea. The lesson is sometimes people are living in different days. Okay. You're at a star this day, it's that day, whatever, you're a little off. It happened to me. I went skiing one time. I was so excited. I get up 5 a.m. I go to the airport, and it happens a lot when you do these online things. The guy, what are you doing here? It's in another month. You're a month early. But my friends are already waiting in Vail, the whole thing. So I had to buy a ticket. You know what it means to buy a ticket at the airport. No, we don't. 20 minutes before the flight leaves. It's more expensive than a flight from here to America. One of those. What?
One of the tiles in the house.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we don't feel bad for you. Anyway. Weiter. So. What's a mukdam? So let's just do mukdam real quickly. A mukdam works like this. There's a guy that owns a piece of property. He sells his he sells the property. Then he takes out a loan, and in the loan happens in Nisan. He says no. He writes in the document that the loan happened months ago, before he even sold it. So now the malva is going to grab this piece of property, but he has no right to grab the piece of property because the piece of property was sold way before the loan happened. So that's called a mukdam, and that's 100% puzzle. This is only a problem when it comes to loan documents. No, not only a problem. The only time mucher is kosher is when it comes to a loan document because it only hurts the malva. When it comes to a regular document of sale, even a delayed, a future date is also possible. My time he writes him a document that's mu'uchar, a later date. Tishrei is later than Nisan, in this case. So let's just show it so that it goes like this. What happened was, the Rashbam explains, the guy sells his property on condition that he could buy it back right away. In other words, the guy doesn't have money. He's trying to raise money. It's a way to get out of like a loan with ribbis. You have to do it in the right way. I need money. You don't want to lend me money because you know how I am. I'm not going to pay you back. So I give you my apartment. And I tell you, listen, if I have the money to pay you back, you must give me back my apartment. Great. Okay, so that happened on the first day of Nisan. And he writes him a star that says that it actually happened on Tishrei, which is 6 months later. On the first day of Iyar, he buys it back. In other words, he pays, but he doesn't give him a star. He gives him something called a receipt, a shoivar. So what's the big problem? The problem is that the buyer is going to say, I bought it from you again. We've been doing this. Look, I keep on lending you money. You keep on giving me an apartment. You keep on buying the apartment back. There's something. So now we're in a situation where you owe me the apartment. I own the apartment. If you want it back, you have to get... How could I prove it? Because look, I have a document that says Tishrei. You have a receipt. Very good. But your receipt says Iyar. I have something called the Tishrei. It happened again, later. Tishrei is after Iyar. Later on, you did this again. He got money, so he was able to buy his house back. And when Tishrei comes, later on, he pulls out another star. I bought this property, says the loikeach guy, I bought it from you twice. This is the second time I bought it from you. You owe me money. Says the same exact story. Here. We have a halva. Thank you, Gary. Mamish on top of stuff. This is halva. The loan happened on the first day of Nisan, but the star says 6 months later, and then he pays back the loan. Mamish the same exact case. But instead of giving him the document, he says, I lost the document, let me give you a receipt. And then what does this chaverman do? He pulls out a star, you owe me money. Here, it says Mefurish in the document, you owe me money. When? Tishrei. Yes, you have a good receipt that says you pay me back in Iyar. But I gave you another loan, the second loan, and it happened in Tishrei. You owe me more money. That's why you shouldn't be able to do this. Why is the shtar mu'achar good? Normally, have the story of got lost because of Tavri, wrote him a receipt, and when the time comes, he pulls out the star. Says Gemara, we hold like Rabbi Yehuda that you don't write a receipt. And therefore you don't have an issue. If you don't give the actual star, you can't collect again. Should we just do a few more lines? We got to do a few more lines. V'idna, says the Gemara, but today, in our days, the kasvin star mu'chrei, the kasvin tavra, you do write a delayed star and you write a receipt. How come you don't think there's a problem? Says the Gemara, we have a solution to that. What's the solution, Rabbi? If you thought, if somebody came to you, what's the solution? What? I did? Where? Amalei Rav Yemel Rav Kahana, Amalei Rav Yirmiyah Medifler Rav Kahana. V'idna, Yisvin Shtar Mocher, V'Kasvin Tavra, Bas Damalo Rabbi L'Safrei. So what is the solution? Very simple. Put some language in the document that it shouldn't be a problem. What? He told the Sofer, if you're going to write a delayed star, Ksuvachi. Shtar Dinan, Loi Bezimne Kasvino, Ella Achruna V'Kasvino. You should write Mefurish in the star that it's a star Mu'achar. We all establish. What do we establish on the bottom of Amud Aleph? What do we say? That everybody agrees that a star that was written on with the date of Yom Kippur on it is kosher. It's a star Mu'achar with the Yom Kippur date in it. Everybody understands it's kosher. So certainly, if you write Mefurish in the star, this is a Mu'achar star, like a Yom Kippur star, then it's going to be kosher according to everybody. And one more line. We don't do this. When you write a receipt, if you know the exact date, you should write it. You should write it without a date. Why? They call emas the nafik l'rai. Anytime you pull something out against this receipt, you have a receipt that says no, you don't owe any money because there's no date. Then you can't. The only time it's a problem if there's dates, and one date is after the other. But if there's no date, here I have a receipt that I paid up. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Motzi Shabbos, 9 o'clock in Ranana, 10 o'clock for Hebrew in Ranana.